Everybody, this is I make it just after 3 o'clock, so welcome to Forums International's next webinar. I'm really pleased to say that we're having this webinar is in conjunction with Sovran and with a very old friend and colleague of mine, Clive Elliford, who's the CRO at Sovran. So welcome, Clive. Thank you for joining us on this. And just to say to everybody that we are recording this, so if you want to have a look at it later or share it with colleagues, then we'll make the recording available to you in the next couple of days. And if you've got questions along the way, there's a chat button at the bottom of the screen. So if you put them in there, it'll flag up to me, and then what we'll do is we'll get to those questions probably towards the end of whichever session is relevant to. So well, I hope you'll enjoy it, and we look forward to receiving your questions as you go. So right, so next slide, please. Well, I couldn't go without mentioning the coronavirus. I sincerely hope everybody is coping well in these challenging times, and that you're keeping well and safe and at a distance, and especially if you're having to do any travelling. So we don't want to hear any bad news. So and from our point of view, from Forums International, we're business as usual. All our forums have now gone virtual, and in fact we're adding some extra events as well along the way. So you'll see those advertised, and I'm really pleased to say that virtual, everybody seems to be quite happy with it. So maybe this is the new normal. So we'll see. So. Okay, roadmap for change. Our objective for Forums International Sovran is to set out the roadmap for change. Looking at future business models, we are looking at future business models that to reduce operating costs. Clive will tell you a compelling story, and the drive and obsession, I like the word obsession, Clive, for a better customer experience. We believe the time is right to deploy effective solutions which will impact all your company, really, not just the operations and sales, but also your customer and your employee experience as well along the way. We plan to illustrate the benefit that you can be achieved with solutions affecting complex tasks across multiple departments, as I say, most of your company. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that Forums International, that me and Forums International are very passionate about developing skills and best practice. So we're very keen, very pleased to have Sovran and Clive with us today. Sovran has flipped the traditional approach to this a little, to customer experience, customer support, and optimizing costs. They place the human customer experience at the center of their solution, and you're going to learn about voice-powered automation. There's going to be some good takeaways along the way, some case studies, and a live demonstration. So all I can say to you is hang on to your seats. This is going to be really good. You will enjoy it, I'm sure. So I'd like to hand over to Clive.
Thank you very much indeed, Laurie. You bigged me up there. And I was just looking back, Laurie, and I saw that this year it's 25 years that we've known each other in business. And I will assume that the card is in the post. So
yeah, I think I was 15. So.
Welcome everybody to a roadmap for change, and as Laurie has highlighted, there's some really significant and important elements here that we want to convey to you, and I think it's really important that you leave here today with understanding who Sovran are, what we're all about, and what we can do to give you more knowledge around the complex processes within a business environment. And that can be any environment at all. And so I think today with most people that particularly at CX level are continually looking to optimize the CX experience, cost optimization across the business, irrespective of where that may be in the business, and to be able to deliver a exemplary customer experience. And that's what we're talking about all the time, is making sure that that customer experience is delivered right first time, every time. And what you'll see today through what we're going through is very many different areas of the business that we operate in, and that how we can drive that roadmap to make a really big difference. And traditionally what people have associated is with this type of technology has been very synthesized voices and quite poor delivery, and not being able to address a lot of the key issues that are quite fundamental to a business. So with that aside, what I'd like to do then is just move on a little bit further now to give you a little bit of flavor about what the market does and what it looks at. And we see here, and a lot of the figures that I get tend to be from the really great consultants in the market, like the McKinseys. And we tend to look at these because they're really important in terms of driving our market as well as their clients' markets, obviously, as well. So key parts to that is looking at the CX point as well, but also where people are spending so much time on their actual transformation programs. And as you can see, there's like nearly 90% of enterprises here developing with automation, but tend to deal with that through a digital capacity, which drives the normal processes. So what we're doing is adding another entity into here to make sure that we can deliver a much crisper, faster delivery across that particular program. So what we've traditionally done is to look at what people call voice bots, which we have changed into voice-powered automation. So our voice-powered automation is all about looking at the market from a different way. Sovran looks at the business in a different way, and when we deliver our technology, we don't come at it from a coding point of view and a computer point of view, but we deliver it from a human language point of view. And that makes our life simpler. It makes your experience much better. And certainly it's making the dynamics of changing dialogue a lot quicker within the process that you may be working in. And as we go through that, we'll be able to show you more about where that works. So key benefits we see within here are obviously, being able to automate 24/7 for customers, so that when you do get downturns or you get environments like we're in now, where you can't support it fully, you know that the VPA will be running there 24/7. It obviously is increasing the operational performance and the CX for the customer, but we're also looking at making sure that in a normal business community that we're reducing the call wait time, but we're improving revenue as well as along the way. So they're really key issues for us when we're looking at these. This is a table that I wanted to share, and I don't want to go into it in full detail, but it's something that I would like to just give you a flavor of, as where typically people place voice-powered automation as a process generally within the contact center environment. What we're doing is we've changed that so that we can apply it, and you'll see here where clients are running this across multiple functions in a business. And you can see the differences here on the left with the cost reductions that these companies are achieving compared to on the right, the revenue growth that they're getting as well. So by adopting the AI within the process, you can maximize in so many different ways and different departments where you may not have felt as though that was achievable before. And as you can see, some of the real high ones are within the manufacturing, service operations, and strategy and corporate functions. So all of these are really key areas where people don't normally associate our technology. So I think it's a really good demonstration, illustration of where we can apply this within your markets. Now, what we tend to look at today is where the problem is. And we all know that the problem generally tends to be within the poor delivery of this type of technology in the past. And where you tend to see that it's generally overly basic and you don't get a lot of human interaction with it, you'll see with what we're delivering and what you'll hear about today is very different to what anybody else has in the market. You'll also hear about the types of automation rates and the percentages that we're achieving within any of these environments. Typically, and these figures again, these come from McKinsey, so it's giving you an idea then of what the enterprises are achieving in success for automated calls, and that's under 11%. And you'll actually be pleasantly surprised by what we deliver within our natural language process. The other element that is often being missed as well is this missed opportunity. And this is a key part, obviously, for businesses, particularly now where you are coming under a lot of financial pressures as well. And you may want to be looking at how can you expand the business, how can you survive, how can you deploy, and how can you grow what you want to do within different environments that you haven't done before, and indeed build new products. So this enables you with our technology to be able to consider all of those options for you in the market. So when I mentioned earlier about the poor delivery, not all voice bots are created equal. And as you see, most people on the illustration on the left is something that is quite robotic. And this is a very normal process that people go through, either push button technology or either things that don't understand what they're saying, and they get frustrated and they put the phone down, and you get fed up with that type of process. And even today, with the volume of calls that some companies are facing, I even know of somebody that has just spoken to me about trying to register their credit card, and they're still 2 weeks down the road and they still can't register it. So there's things that business will affect like that, where there's that spending opportunity, but you can't use the card. So that's a very different scenario, but also a restriction for the business. So here's an example of what we put into Sky. This is a Sky project for tier 1 support. So it's giving you an idea of how complex we can get, but it's not anywhere near what we can do. But this is running tier 1 support. This is all the B2C market where clients or customers that have got decoders, Sky channels, and where they will maybe have a problem with a channel not working, or maybe the decoder's not operating, or there's a fault of some description. What we're processing here is the full end-to-end solution, whereby the voice-powered automation is handling everything end-to-end, and it's also being able to book an engineer visit if it isn't able to be corrected or rectified on that call, and it will also take payment via invoicing as well. So thinking, you know, on a wider perspective, what we can achieve, this can go right the way across your business. And as you can see here, we started with 35,000 calls per month with Sky, and that just went up and up and up, so that we were then into like 300,000 calls, 4 million calls a year total, and the 81% automation. So it just shows you where we can deliver that. And in this example, the 81% automation was very shortly after we deployed. We actually deployed into production at 50% automation, and it wasn't very long before we were delivering the 81. And that also, that model is now going on to deliver for retention, acquisition as well within Sky. So it's you can see the opportunities where you can use this type of technology. So trying to give you a little bit more about the product and what we do, rather than just telling you what we do. It's at this point is probably a good idea to show you a video of an example. Claire, could you drop that back to the previous screen at all?
I'm just trying.
There. Okay, so this is an example of a typical type environment.
Welcome to Cisco Technical Support. How can we help you today?
I need to renew a license.
You have a license request. Did I get it right?
Yes, that's right.
Can you please tell me your Cisco.com ID?
It's 12345.
And your full name, please?
Layla Patterson.
One moment, please. Let me look that up. Do you have the serial number of the product you need support with?
It's 6789.
Can you give me some more details to use as a problem description? Speaking not too fast will help me to write down a good note.
I'm being asked to renew a license again.
Please, hold the line. I'll connect you to a customer service representative.
Mrs. Patterson.
How can we help you today?
I need to renew a license.
You have a license request. Did I get it right?
So she's trying to renew a license. Hi, Mrs. Patterson. I can see you're trying to renew a license with us. I'm really sorry this has happened to you. We'd like to give you excellent customer service. What we can offer you is 1 month's free subscription. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's great.
I see you haven't finished the technical call, so I'll just transfer you back to the bot now. Have a great day.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
How would you like the engineer to contact you back? By email, mobile phone, or business phone?
Mobile.
Perfect. We will contact you on your mobile phone. I generated a service request number. Can you take note of the number?
Yes, I can.
The number is 987654321. Do you want me to repeat?
No, thank you.
Your feedback before hanging up would be very useful. How did you find the quality of the interaction?
It was okay. I liked it, enjoyed it. It worked quite well.
Was the interaction fast or slow?
It was great. Great customer service.
We value your suggestions as they'll help us to improve the service. Do you have any suggestions?
I think the support service was really quick and personal.
Thanks so much for your cooperation. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, so that gives you an idea about what we can do within a complex environment. Claire, the slides, that's it. Thank you very much. That we've got that one. So that's giving you an idea of where we can go with a particular solution. So there was a technical support for Cisco, but what we've done there is what many people ask us can be done, which is, can you come out of the process and go to a human agent if need be to rectify maybe a critical situation or maybe something that is affecting the customer experience. As you can see there, that can be done, but then passed back into the process again so that you can continue with that voice-powered automation process again and deliver the solution back to the client, so you rectify that situation. So all of those things can be achieved. They're really things that we are used to dealing with, but I think it's really always interesting to know how it makes us different and what we do. So when we first talked about this, one of the things that we talk about is the power of voice. So we are dealing with natural voice. We don't deal with machine learning process because machine learning process deals with a lot of corpora and it takes a lot of training as well. So one of the key things around there is delivery time to you, which we'll talk about as well. So making sure that you get real life conversation is really key to this, and making sure that it's giving the experience that you would normally expect in a normal human to human call. The other thing that we do is by providing a hybrid approach in terms of our technology, we're able to deliver a performance that is much higher than anybody else in the market, but also means that you can deploy and vary campaigns whenever you want to. So rather than having to wait long times to do things, we can make sure that those are deployed quite dynamically within your working environment on a daily basis if you needed to. So looking at where we go beyond the machine learning element, what we're doing is we're making sure that you don't get those difficult calls, those jagged calls that you've normally associated with that area, and that also you don't have long training programs. And that's critical to us, because what we're trying to do here is to make sure that in delivering at speed for you, and you may, you know, think about speed in different ways for different solutions, but we deliver 10 times faster than anybody else in the market. And we deliver that ready for production to be deployed as well. And bearing in mind this can go into any environment, what we're talking about here is typically, you know, anything under 120 days will be the most complex that we will be delivering. So you know that it will be delivered very quickly. And from a point of view of being able to look at KPIs and data and manage the whole process at your end, you know, within an environment, whether that be in invoicing or operations, delivery, orders, then we can make sure that you have a dashboard that gives you the most up-to-date and current data that's happening within that particular process on a per minute basis. So looking at what we provide, to look at the types of processes that you may be wanting to consider here is two particular products. One is VPA, our voice powered automation, and the other one is ISA, our interactive smart attendant. And what we're looking at here with VPA is the product that is proportionally directed towards the enterprise and the complex market. So anything that we've talked about to now can be anything that you would like it to be from a complex point of view. It doesn't matter what it would be. As long as you've got some sort of engagement, then we can deliver it through VPA. The ISA product is much more of a productivity tool. It's all about making sure that you improve employee communication and engagement, but also you reduce those mundane tasks, you know, that are normally associated with things that you might have within a process, and we'll talk a little bit more about those as well. So VPA, one of the things that we talk about a lot within our market and making sure that we improve brand value and within the business is looking at NPS scores. And obviously NPS scores are recognized right the way across industries now, and they're deployed really well, and they're really looked at and analyzed on a day-by-day basis, because people want to understand how the brand value is being affected. So we typically see with what we're delivering with our voice bot technology is anything above 50 as a NPS score. And if you know NPS, you'll know that that is a really high score. We do achieve higher than that. We've seen scores much higher than that, but we try to be really, you know, to the point around what we're delivering at that time. So we're trying to make sure that we can provide everything that you need within the brand value as well. And bearing in mind that we're delivering this with any language, but currently we have 8 languages that we're delivering, but any language is achievable across the market. So anything like that, there's no boundary for you in terms of what you want to have if you're working in EMEA regions or wherever. So one of the key things about VPA is obviously the increase in the NPS score, and also making sure that you can have opportunities to cross-sell and upsell product. That's not normally achievable within an AI type process, but here we've been able to do that with natural language, as well as being able to resolve customer queries at the same time. So it could be that you may have a customer query maybe in invoicing or orders, but also you may be able to then move on to take additional sales on top of that as well. So this makes the whole process for our clients much more of a higher level CX. It's also generating higher revenues. It's reducing the whole operational cost as well. So we're really making sure that we're trying to drive as much as we can of that through the business in all of those areas. They're always a consideration to us. And I think that looking at some of the things around ISA, which as I've mentioned is a productivity tool, we're trying to make sure that we take all of those mundane tasks that you would normally associate within the business, like it might be tracking an order, or you might want some support like you saw with the example on the video. It could be holidays through HR, where you just want to book your holidays. which could take up people's time. I see now that within HR, it's something like HR staff are spending something in the order of like 68% of time spent on these mundane tasks, things that could be automated very easily. And we always talk about, when we are delivering, what we're doing is not about removing people, but actually upskilling them so that you can deploy them in much better jobs. They're more interested and they're actually more involved and engaged in what they're doing. So it has a very big impact across the whole business. So for simple things, maybe like booking meetings or collecting data, or for example, acquisition to cash, where you want to acquire customers and go through the whole process of taking information for a new customer, credit checking them, doing all that process through our voice bot technology. That's all achievable within that market. So anything that you would like to say virtually, we can say yes to you, that we can deliver that. So where we're coming from here, from these types of things, is to obviously improve that whole process, but also to make sure that we're giving opportunity where you can look across the business, and also make sure that you can look at other opportunities to do this. So it's not to replace everyone, but actually to work within transformation or within a simple process to make sure that we can resolve a lot of these resolution queries that we have out there as well. So from how we deliver, it's always a really important part for our clients, is how we deliver this and how we offer our services. Is that one of the key things that you'll be very keen to hear about is how we deliver it from a financial point of view. Obviously, in these times at the moment, where we hear a lot about capex cuts and that type of thing, and budget restrictions. So we eliminated capex within our process. So that makes it very easy for our clients to engage with us, and we then build it as a subscription model, which makes it very easy then to go through an OpEx type process. We're also delivering for all of your customers through omni-channel, because our customers today, and all of us, want to be able to convey and communicate through different channels. We offer it through omni-channel solutions, and even through the business ones that you'd have today, like Salesforce as well, or Office. And we deliver through iCal, Google Cal, and so we can do that simultaneously, because so many people today want to be able to communicate maybe by voice and by digital. We can able to handle that simultaneously as well. So we're making it as smooth a transition as possible right the way across the whole of the spectrum that's available with VPA and ISA. So overall, the benefits to you as a business, to think about where is it that you can automate the processes. And often, as I started out at the beginning saying, that we normally tend to see this be really curtailed to some of the simple processes, but what we've done is to expand that and take that to a much wider opportunity, and to enable people to be able to integrate easily, be able to take the benefit of reduced cost of operation, and also be able to have faster delivery and collect insight data. And that's always a really key part for us and for our clients, is how do we collect more insight data that makes it easier for you to engage with your customers at any level, and be able to communicate with them in much different ways. So that sort of helps you, give you a flavour of where we are in terms of what we're delivering today from that technology. So I don't know whether you got anything that come back on questions there at all, Laurie?
Yeah, well, I've got an observation to start with. Thank you very much indeed, Clive, to start with. And I like that example on the video where it was then passed from a bot to a person, and then person back to a bot. And I was thinking about that in the finance, in the credit environment, where credit gets a query, comes through. Well, that could be from a bot. Then it could be passed to customer service, who could be a person, or it could be another bot. And also you actually could then pass it on into sales, as you were saying about add-on sales as well. Well, so actually you can incorporate this in and involve more than one department, and which I think is, you know,
absolutely. And I think you're spot on there, Laurie.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that where we tend to go into a business and talk to them about a particular problem now. It 9 times out of 10 ends up being a much wider opportunity because they see the value. And the example is the one of Sky is one where we've now dealing with tier 1, but now going into acquisition and retention as well. And you can imagine the volumes of calls that Sky is handling to be able to do that. And the way people are so transient around wanting to move, you know, particularly around some of the utilities like mobile phones, if you can deal with it a lot quicker, you reduce your retention rates down, and also you reduce the whole cost to the operation. So it is a very interesting one, that side of things.
Okay, there is a couple of questions. Actually, this is probably how long is a piece of string, but how long does it actually take to deliver?
Yeah, you're dead right, Laurie. It is how long's a piece of string, and it's coming back to that complex element. That part of it is really down to the scripting and how complex does the client want it. And delivery that we have, typically we would be looking at deliveries around, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. If you were looking at, for an example of where we were putting the Sky product in, we were in an RFP with that, which was with 22 different companies, and we got to the top 5, and the other 4 of us in the top 5, which are much bigger players than us, they're well-known brands in the market, couldn't deliver in anything from 9 to 12 months. We delivered that whole process into production in 6 weeks. So it does depend on the complexity, but it does show you that you can have a live production environment going, and then we can tune accordingly if you need to. So if there are changes in campaigns or changes in, say, things that like are happening in the market that affect you as a business, then we can instantaneously change those dialogues. You don't have to wait for training to be done, and that can be done very quickly and effectively as well.
We're all looking for things to be simpler, not more complex. There's a question here: how complex can Sovran technology get with a standard type process? And just an example was, for instance, double checking a customer's address and telephone number and contact details.
Yes, we can make it as simple as that. In actual fact, I think one of the things that's always a really good thing to provide people is a live demo. And what I'll do is I'll provide a live demo for you, which I'll do now. And then you can see how simple we can make it or how complex. And this is run straight from my mobile phone, and you'll be able to see the type of thing that we can achieve within in what we're doing.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the demo suite of Sovran. Which application would you like to demo?
ISA, please.
Great choice. ISA is on the way. Hello, this is the meeting room service. Can I have your ID number, please?
122240679.
So, 120244679. Correct?
Yes, that is.
Thank you. How may I help you?
I'd like to book a meeting in Barcelona next Wednesday.
Let me see. Barcelona, the 20th of May. Sure. And at what time?
2 o'clock, please.
How much time do you think the meeting is going to take?
2 hours.
And the number of people attending?
2 people.
So let's see. You want to book a meeting room for 2 people in Barcelona on the 20th of May. This meeting is starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and takes 2 hours. Is this correct?
No, I actually want to change it to Dublin.
Okay, we'll change Barcelona to Dublin. Let me check which room is free. Just a moment, please. I've booked your meeting in the Guinness room. Would you like me to mail the invitations?
Yes, please.
Are you going to attend yourself?
Yes, I am. I've just lost a signal on that. So sorry, Isaac. What that normally would do there is to email out directly, but the signal dropped on my 4G just then. But as you can see, Laurie, in answer to your question, we can make it as simple, but as you can see there, we can actually change within the dialogue as well. So if we booked a meeting room and it was wrong, we can change location, we can change number of people, we can change the time, how many people attend, and then it will email out to everybody or text, whatever it happens to be. So it gives you an idea of the complexity of what we can do, or as simple as we can make it.
I was very impressed it was in the Guinness room as well. So.
Yes, I thought you'd like that one. That's why I changed it to Dublin.
Thanks very much. Well, thank you very much indeed, Clive. And as I say, we'll make the recording available to everybody and Clive's details. And so I hope you found that interesting.
Great.
Just for those who don't know Forums International, just a very swift canter through who we are. Some of you listening may well be members. We started back in 2015. If I just bring all these up, Claire, I think. But we've been running credit forums since 1991. In fact, our oldest forum, I think, has just had its 161st meeting. I've chaired 159 of those. And it's very much there for professionals to meet and discuss their challenges, share experiences, and of course today we're not doing any face-to-face, so everything is being done virtually, but that seems to be working really well, and we're running not just presentations but workshops and people sharing their experiences backwards and forwards. So, and we're very much supported by our corporate partners and some very, very influential and very good subject matter experts. So next slide, please. This gives you a little idea. This is, we're very proud of this list. This is, these are all our corporate partners today. And a lot of those names, I'm sure, or probably all of those names you all know. And we're also very proud to be a CICM corporate partner, which became that in January this year. So thank you very much to all my partners for their help and their support. So why are we different? I think the key parts of this is that we do have presentations, and but what we try to do a mix. So, and we try and do it on a 50-50 basis. So 50% is a presentation. The other 50% is getting the knowledge, experiences from our members. And so if you put those two things together, it becomes quite powerful. And we're also very keen that we have output from our forums as well. So the presentations are always made available afterwards, but everything that's been discussed, we try and record as much of that as we can, and we'll turn that into workshop notes, and that is also made available, and it's on our website so that our members can look back and say, and I do get the call, remember 2 years ago, Laurie, we did this presentation or workshop on a particular subject. Have you got the notes from that? Of course we have the notes from that. So and hopefully some of them do keep the test of time, but others we keep reviewing and bringing up to date as the world turns. So next one, please. I think our key objectives will go on and on and on forever, but networking with peers, access to subject matter experts, gaining new tools and techniques, increasing personal skill levels, and some of our forums we do share training experiences, so that's there as well. And if you know, those who know me well, you know that I will mention new and best practices, and I will mention that and on and on and on, because I believe that that is one of the key outputs from the forums. Our mission for 2020, well, it's probably changed just slightly, but some of those things are still quite key. We're looking to develop and continue to develop the creative profession of the future. And part of that is to bring in the younger generation, the millennials, the Generation X's, and because I think we can learn from them as well as they can learn from us. I'm very proud to be a CICM fellow, and so proud that we actually support them and they support us. Back to my best practice again. And we want to work with creative folk of all levels who have a passion for their profession. And also educate those who say maybe I should start that again. We want to educate those who say they are too busy to learn. So unfortunately, I know it's what it's like today. Everybody is busy with the virus, and getting away for a little while from their desk is difficult. I think with us doing virtual now, that's helped it a bit. And as I say, our attendance is up quite dramatically using going via virtually and Zoom. Thank you. Next. We're looking at some new events. We're doing some joint events with CICM, and also we're going to be doing something with some of you know Brent coming. We're doing some joint events with him as well. So we're new formats for some of our forums. Well, that's what we had planned. Well, our new format at the moment is running it virtually. And we will also be running some virtual roundtables, workshops, and we are running monthly webinars as well with our partners. And we were planning in September to do the second Amazon Suppliers Forum. Well, it's probably not going to happen in September now, but because we would like to do that face-to-face, but coming soon or coming in not too far distance, we'll be doing a second Amazon Suppliers Forum. We have the info hub, which allows our members to communicate on a 24/7 basis. There's new member opportunities and incentives, and also there's some opportunities now for different payment schemes as well. We've got some new corporate partners coming on board, virtual attendance that I mentioned virtually, and we're actually putting the international back into Forums International, because we're now getting more and more international players joining us because they can do from their desks. I won't go through these, but this is our current portfolio of forums. We say we will say there's something there for everybody. And the ROI on this, really, I'm not going through them all, but we have a website with secure members area. We have the info hub. You can get, if you're a CICM member, you can get CPD points. We have pre-approved major corporate partners and affordable membership fees. Somebody once said we're cheaper than a training course. Well, I won't comment on that. So testimonials, again, There's a lot there, but I think I'll take the one in the top left-hand corner. Great day, Laurie. Really thought-provoking. To me, that was good. So take-home message is: come along to your first virtual forum. It's free. Try it and see for free, and then you can make your decision whether you actually want to join us in some capacity, but you see it first before you make any commitment. So thank you very much. So thanks very much for joining our webinar. Thank you very much indeed, Clive, for your presentation.
You're very welcome, thank you.
And I hope you found that useful. And please go to Forums International's website. A lot has happened to that in the last few days. In fact, a lot has happened in the last 12 hours. So please have a look at that, and you will see details of our forums, meetings, webinars. And don't forget, every Tuesday morning, 10:30, coffee break. Come and join us and talk to other people who actually are working from home and share your experiences. So please, on behalf of all of us, stay safe and see you soon, hopefully. Thank you.